What's going on, everyone? So Rob Pelinka is out here making some moves. Rob Pelinka has went and traded with the Indiana Pacers for the number 40th pick. So they have moved up from 47th to 40th. So obviously the Lakers have somebody in mind that they really like that they don't think will be available at the 47th pick. Or this could also be a play for another move, right? This could be the beginning stages to go and acquire another marquee player or two. The Indiana Pacers and the Lakers have been linked in a Buddy Hield Miles Turner trade. That is something that could end up happening. And the Lakers have some options, right? The Lakers could obviously draft a pick at number 17. Lots of talks about them looking to maybe move the 17th pick with a Malik Beasley, a Mo Bamba, try to go get a player or two. They're looking for starting level caliber type players that can come in and make an immediate impact and try to make this title push. They were just in the Western Conference Finals. You'd imagine that, look, they're looking at it. We got LeBron James and Anthony Davis for at least 2 more years. Let's go try to win the title in this window. And I do believe that that's the best move. I think if you can find a proper package, a proper trade that could put you in that direction, I think you need to do it. A lot of teams right now are arming up. It's kind of been an arms race a little bit here, and it's going to be interesting to see how this offseason goes. But I do think that the Lakers are going to ultimately make a trade. But what do they need, right? They could really use some more size, right? Especially out on the perimeter. Some defense, some, 3-point stopping, right? Because that was like a big thing with the Lakers last year. Some perimeter defense that could stop guys from just shooting the lights out on us. It seemed like every handful of games, a team would just go crazy from 3 on us, even though we were one of the better 3-point defending teams. Still, it doesn't hurt to have enough size and wings out on the perimeter. Looking to acquire Royce O'Neal and Dorian Finney-Smith via a trade with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this could have been part of the reason why the Lakers moved up to the number 40 pick, right? That could be a possibility that maybe the Nets wanted something a little closer to the first round, and this is something that they were able to acquire and kind of, or even just a little more, like the 40th pick sounds better than the 47th pick, right? So maybe they could work something like that out. Now, both of these guys will be great on the Lakers. I'm not really sure how I feel about the Lakers trading the 17th pick for them. Now, if you acquired both of them, it would be kind of hard to say no, right? I really think so. I mean, you're talking about 2 legit 3-and-D style perimeter guys, which are huge in today's NBA, right? Both of them are 30, so you could still have them for the next several years. And the Brooklyn Nets have now too many of these guys, right? They need to start figuring out what are they going to do. They need to start selling off some of these guys. They have Cam Johnson. They have Mikal Bridges still. They have several other guys that they're very likely going to need to figure out in the next few years. So I could see them looking to move these 2 guys, moving off of them. One, I feel like they could get a better return than the Lakers' 17th pick and even the Lakers' 40th pick for these guys, especially the way that the kind of market is for these type of perimeter defensive wings. But hey, you never know. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes the Lakers can pull rabbits out of their hats. But going off of Dorian Finney-Smith, we'll start here, right? 30 years old, 6'7" size. He's a guy that can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions, can kind of play the power forward a little bit. You can even play him at shooting guard if you needed to for defensive purposes, right? Depending on what it is. Guy that he is a defensive specialist in many ways, right? He was the Dallas Mavericks' far and away best defensive player, and he was a guy that as soon as he left, the Dallas Mavericks acquired Kyrie Irving, and they were terrible. And it wasn't Kyrie's fault. They just didn't have defense. And that's because Dorian Finney-Smith was basically their defense. He played 27, almost 28 minutes per game. Again, not an elite 3-point shooter by any means. He's not very good at all. I mean, the whole 3-and-D for these guys is loosely used, right? For being honest. Again, Dorian Finney-Smith isn't some lights out type shooter. He has his seasons. he has his moments, right? He's had 40% 3-point seasons, 38% 3-point seasons on like 5 attempts. But the last 2 years, he has not really been that. He was a 35.5% 3-point shooter this past year for Dallas. And then when he went and got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, he was 30%, just under 31% on 5 attempts per game. Little bit of a concern, right? Especially with the history and the way that Lakers seem to get guys that can shoot and all of a sudden fall off and can't shoot at all. But if you look at the 2021-2022 season, he shot 39.5%. And then if you look at the previous season, he shot the 2020-2021 season, he shot 35 or almost 40% again at 39.4%. So this is a guy that is capable of shooting, 40% from 3, 38%. And we don't even necessarily need him to shoot 40%. Can he shoot 37, 38%, right? To where you actually have to defend this guy, right? That's what we need. We need guys that can be serious threats, right? At least cause the defense to challenge rather than just okay, we'll just stand here and wait and just watch as they shoot the 3. Kind of like what happens with Jared Vanderbilt where he kind of just stands out. Now, Royce O'Neal, a little bit better, right? He actually shoots 38.5% for his career. For a good chunk of his career, though, he wasn't taking as many threes. His first 3 years in the league, he was only averaging about 2.5 3 attempts per game. But the last 2 years or so, he's kind of picked it up to around 4 or 5. So the last 2 years with Utah, he was shooting around 4 threes per game and shooting 38%. And then with Brooklyn, he was shooting 5.5%. It jumped up with Brooklyn, and he was shooting 38.9%, basically 39% from 3. That now, on the other hand, is massive. Field goal percentage-wise, he was terrible with Brooklyn. And that's counting, 2-point range, stuff like that, all of it combined. He was actually better from 3 than he was from the field in general, which is odd. But he is, for his career, 43, 44% from the field. And with Utah this previous year, he was just under 46% from the field overall, which is really good. Not from 3-point range, but that's just from overall. Again, guy's 30. Solid pickup, solid acquisition, can guard multiple positions. He's 6'6", so he's got some good size, some good length, some good stability. He was really good for Brooklyn. He was surprisingly good for Brooklyn. And, people liked him in Utah. And when Brooklyn got him, it was kind of okay, that's cool. But then it was you saw him play, and he was just making play after play after play. All of these hustle moves, and you're just whoa, time out. Where did this come from, right? And so I could see him being an impact. I could see both of them being an impact player, right? Both are energy guys. Both are hustle guys. Both will do the dirty work. Both will get after it on defense. They're kind of hot and cold when it comes to 3-point range, right? Royce O'Neal has kind of been better as of late. But, it gives the Lakers a lot of what they need. Right, it gives the Lakers 2 guys that are better starting options over Jared Vanderbilt. Right, you could make an argument for Royce O'Neal or Dorian Finney-Smith easily. Start either of them and develop Vanderbilt, grow him over the years. I mean, if you wanted to, you could even go something like an Austin Reeves, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James and Anthony Davis lineup if you wanted to, right? These are 2 guys that could easily come in and start, right? Especially let's say you go and you move off of D'Lo, or you go to look D'Lo, or maybe you trade D'Lo back to Brooklyn or something like that. I don't know. Just throwing out ideas real quick. But, if you could get these 2 guys, bring them in, you got 2 great defensive guys that could guard the Kevin Durant's of the world, the Devin Bookers of the world, right? Because those are teams that you're going to have to worry about. Could guard, they're sizable guys that could guard the the Jamal Murrays of the world, the Michael Porter Jr.'s, things like that. Like, that's good to have, right? You can't have too much perimeter defense and too much size and stuff, especially in the interior, right? Anthony Davis has got the interior locked. Don't have to worry about that. Lakers will take care of that. Anthony Davis will take care of that. Got to guard the perimeter and keep guys off the three-point line, right? Kind of funnel them to AD, stuff like that. Let them clean up. Or just, go and contest and don't allow them to get wide open three-point looks. And you'd get two guys that could do that. I don't hate the trade. I don't. If it happens, I'm with it. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the trade that you're like, that was the move. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in hindsight, maybe it turns out to be that, right? Maybe it does work. Like, I don't hate it, right? I definitely think it makes the Lakers better. But it's just, I don't know. It's just not the... I would love to get both of these guys. I just feel like you could get more for the 17th pick. I think especially what we've seen on the market, not even counting the Bradley Beal and stuff like that, but just like how stingy people have been with first round picks lately, right? And like what the Lakers were able to get for a protected first in 2027, right? And you talk about the 17th pick and it is in a very deep draft, and many people believe that the 17th pick could yield what would be a top 10 guy in any other draft. If all of those are true, then I think you could do better than this, right? Dorian Finney-Smith is maybe a late first, early second. Royce O'Neal, probably the same thing, a couple seconds. Like, I don't think either of these guys are worth a first. I think they're worth, a couple seconds. Now, if the Lakers could trade and keep the 17th pick and give up like a Rui deal, give up like 4 seconds for these two guys, then in a heartbeat, do that immediately, right? Like, if you could trade whatever, if you could trade Mo Bamba and Malik Beasley and go get these two guys and whatever other piece, do that immediately, right? Like, I would be all for that. You're talking about two solid perimeter defensive guys that could help tremendously. Royce O'Neal is only owed $9.5 million, so you could swap him and Mo Bamba easily, and he's on a partially guaranteed deal, which I think is really nice as well, because it gives some flexibility if for whatever reason you need to clear something. Not that they would, but just always nice to get guys like that. And then when you're talking about Dorian Finney-Smith, he has a player option, which is interesting. He could opt out, but he probably sticks around for the Lakers, and he's owed $15 million. So again, you could this is a perfect swap. Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba. I think it's an upgrade over both of them. You would have to go find a center now, but you go get these two guys for those 2 and 4 seconds. Cool, I'm all for it. Sign me up for that. Give me 2 scoops of that, right? Like, I'm with that, but I'd rather keep the 17th pick if it's going that. That's just me personally. But if you could do that, like, let's say you could take Mo Bamba, Malik Beasley, and like 3 or 4 second round picks and get these two guys, and then you could go. That would give the Lakers a possibility of taking D'Angelo Russell, the 17th pick, and the 2029 pick, and making something happen. That would be pretty cool. I'd be all for that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? You love this idea? Hate this idea? However you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the